Welcome to Secrets of Earth. I'm Patrick Viersba, your guide into the world's most remote corners. Today, we leave behind the forests, mountains, and jungles for a landscape so vast that the horizon seems to bend with the Earth itself. It is a place where summer bakes the ground beneath an endless blue sky, where winter temperatures plunge low enough to freeze exposed skin within minutes, and where survival depends on movement more than shelter. Hidden within these immense grasslands lives one of the strangest mammals on our planet, the Saiga antelope. If you've never heard of the Central Asian steppe, you're not alone. It stretches across Kazakhstan, parts of Russia, Uzbekistan, and Mongolia, forming one of the largest continuous grassland ecosystems on Earth. There are no towering rainforests here, no dramatic mountain peaks. At first glance, it almost feels empty. But appearances can be deceptive. Listen carefully, and you'll hear the whisper of wind racing through dry grasses. In spring, meadowlarks and larks rise into the sky with songs that seem impossibly loud against the silence. By midsummer, dust devils twist across the plains, while distant thunderheads promise rain that may never arrive. Then, winter sweeps in like an invading army, carrying icy winds unbroken by hills or forests, transforming this open landscape into a frozen sea of snow and frost. To most creatures, these extremes would be impossible. To the Saiga, they are home. Looking at one for the first time can be an unexpected experience. From a distance, it resembles an ordinary antelope, standing lightly on long, delicate legs. Males carry elegant, amber-colored horns that curve gently upward, translucent in the morning light like polished honey. But then, your eyes reach its face. Its nose appears oversized, almost comical, hanging over its mouth like a soft, flexible trunk. It gives the animal an almost prehistoric appearance, as though evolution experimented with several designs before settling on this one. Yet that unusual nose isn't an accident. It is one of nature's finest examples of adaptation. The Saiga belongs to a lineage that has survived for hundreds of thousands of years. During the Ice Ages, when woolly mammoths wandered frozen grasslands and saber-toothed cats stalked enormous herbivores, Saiga ancestors were already running across the Eurasian steppes. Nearly all of those giants vanished. The mammoths disappeared. The woolly rhinoceros disappeared. The cave lion disappeared. But somehow, this peculiar antelope, with its oversized nose and delicate frame, kept running. Today, every Saiga you see is a living survivor of an ancient world. Every animal has one feature that defines its story. For the elephant, it's the trunk. For the giraffe, the neck. For the Saiga, everything begins with its remarkable nose. Scientists call the structure a proboscis, but unlike an elephant's trunk, it isn't used for grasping food or manipulating objects. Instead, it transforms the very air the animal breathes. Inside that bulbous nose lies an astonishing network of curled bones known as turbinates. These delicate structures dramatically increase the surface area inside the nasal passages. Covering them are warm blood vessels, moisture-rich tissues, and tiny hairs that work together like a sophisticated natural climate control system. And on the steppe, climate control can mean the difference between life and death. During summer, temperatures can soar well above 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Weeks may pass without meaningful rainfall. As thousands of saiga move together across dry ground, every pounding hoof lifts clouds of fine dust into the air. Imagine sprinting through that cloud for hours. Every breath would carry tiny particles deep into your lungs. Over time, that dust could scar delicate lung tissue, reducing your ability to breathe and making every migration harder than the last. The saiga's nose helps prevent that. Sticky mucus traps much of the airborne dust before it reaches the lungs, while fine hairs catch larger particles. Later, the animal expels the debris naturally through sneezing or normal mucus clearance. It's an elegant solution to a problem few of us have ever had to consider. But summer presents another challenge. Running generates enormous body heat. Unlike predators that sprint only briefly, migrating saiga may travel for many kilometers while constantly feeding, scanning for danger, and keeping pace with the herd. Blood flowing through the tissues of the nose helps regulate the temperature of incoming air before it reaches the lungs, contributing to the animal's overall ability to manage heat during long journeys. Then, everything changes. Winter arrives. The same open plains that shimmered beneath summer sunlight become an unforgiving frozen wilderness. Temperatures can plunge below -40 degrees. The air becomes painfully cold and exceptionally dry. Breathing that air directly would irritate sensitive tissues with every inhalation. Yet once again, the saiga's nose rises to the challenge. Before icy air reaches the lungs, it travels through those long nasal passages where warm blood flowing beneath the surface gently heats it. Moisture from the nasal lining humidifies each breath, protecting delicate respiratory tissues from drying out. One remarkable organ. Two opposite problems. One elegant solution. Nature rarely wastes a good design. Standing still is rarely an option on the steppe. Rain falls unpredictably. Fresh grasses emerge hundreds of kilometers away. Snow may blanket one region, while another remains open for grazing. To survive, the saiga must constantly follow opportunity. Their migrations are among the greatest overland journeys still remaining in Eurasia. Entire herds move like flowing rivers across landscapes that seem almost limitless. Some migrations cover hundreds of kilometers each year, though the exact route shifts depending on rainfall, vegetation, snow depth, and human disturbance. Unlike birds that navigate fixed flyways, saiga are remarkably flexible. They don't memorize a road, they chase the green. From above, the movement of thousands of animals resembles a living tide rolling across the plains. Calves remain close beside their mothers. Adult females dominate the herd for much of the year. Young males drift at the edges. Experienced animals seem to know when conditions are changing long before the landscape itself reveals the signs. Then, danger appears. A wolf. Gray against gray, barely visible until it begins to run. The herd reacts almost instantly. Thousands of bodies pivot together. Dust erupts into the air. What moments earlier seemed like peaceful grazing transforms into one of nature's most spectacular stampedes. Despite their unusual appearance, saiga are astonishingly fast. They can exceed 70 kilometers per hour, around 45 miles per hour, for short bursts, using both speed and endurance to escape predators. Unlike gazelles that leap dramatically into the air, saiga stay remarkably low as they run. Their bodies glide forward in long, efficient strides that conserve energy over enormous distances. Everything about them favors endurance. Long legs reduce effort. Lightweight bones make movement efficient. Broad hooves spread their weight across loose sand and winter snow alike, helping prevent them from sinking into an unstable ground. The entire animal seems almost engineered for a world without walls. Because, on the steppe, there is nowhere to hide, only somewhere to run. Autumn arrives quietly. The grasses fade from green to gold. Morning frost lingers a little longer each day. The great migrations begin slowing as breeding season approaches. This is when the males begin to change. Their necks thicken, their behavior becomes restless, and their remarkable noses take on yet another role. Hormones cause the soft tissues of the nose to swell noticeably during the breeding season, helping shape the deep, resonant calls males produce while competing for females. Those calls carry surprisingly well across the open grasslands. They are less songs than rolling bellows, low nasal sounds that advertise strength while warning rival males to keep their distance. Whenever possible, these vocal displays prevent unnecessary fighting. Because on the steppe, injury is dangerous. A broken leg doesn't simply end a contest, it ends a life. Still, conflicts sometimes become unavoidable. Two males lower their heads. Their translucent horns meet with a sharp crack. Dust swirls around them as they push for dominance. Usually, the contest is brief. One yields. The other inherits a harem of females and only a few precious weeks to pass on his genes before winter tightens its grip. Ironically, success comes at a cost. Dominant males often lose significant body weight during the rut because they spend more time defending females than feeding. Many enter winter exhausted. Some never survive until spring. Nature rewards victory, but it always sends the bill. After months of bitter cold, the first signs of spring appear almost overnight. Snow retreats. Fresh grasses push through the soil. The wind softens. Across the steppe, thousands of pregnant females begin searching for open, undisturbed ground. Then, within just a few remarkable days, the next generation arrives. Unlike many mammals that give birth over weeks or months, saiga females synchronize their births into an incredibly short period. The reason is simple. Predators can only eat so much. A wolf may catch one newborn, perhaps two, but it cannot catch thousands. By giving birth almost simultaneously, the herd overwhelms predators through sheer numbers. Biologists call this predator satiation, a strategy shared by a surprisingly few large mammals. Many mothers give birth to twins, an unusually high rate for an antelope of this size. It is a remarkable investment in the future. Newborn calves lie almost motionless during their first hours, their sandy coats blending perfectly with the surrounding grasses. From even a short distance away, they almost disappear. Then, astonishingly quickly, they stand. Within hours, shaky legs become steady ones. Within days, they are keeping pace with animals that may soon travel hundreds of kilometers together. There is no nursery, no protected childhood. The migration waits for no one. Every calf must learn to run almost as soon as it learns to stand. And somehow, most do. For hundreds of thousands of years, the Saiga antelope endured almost everything the natural world could throw at it. It survived the rise and fall of glaciers. It adapted to dramatic swings in climate that reshaped continents. It outran wolves, escaped ancient predators now only known through fossils, and watched entire species vanish from the earth. By every measure, the Saiga should have been one of evolution's great success stories. Then, in little more than a decade, humans nearly erased it. When the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, sweeping political and economic changes rippled across Central Asia. Protected areas suddenly had fewer resources. Wildlife officers disappeared from remote regions. Rural communities faced economic hardship, and many turned to hunting simply to survive. For the Saiga, another threat emerged at the same time: its horns. Only male Saiga grow horns, and for centuries, those horns had been used in traditional Chinese medicine as an ingredient believed to help treat fever and other illnesses. Scientific studies have found no evidence that Saiga horns possess unique medicinal properties beyond those of other keratin-based materials, but demand remained high. Poachers began targeting males almost exclusively. Entire breeding herds were stripped of their adult bulls. Without enough males to reproduce, populations collapsed even faster than hunting alone would have caused. The decline was breathtaking. In the early 1990s, roughly 1 million Saiga still roamed the Eurasian steppes. Within little more than a decade, more than 95% had disappeared. Some populations were reduced to only a few hundred animals. Scientists who had once studied immense migrations stretching across the horizon suddenly struggled to find even small herds. For a species that had survived the ice ages, extinction no longer seemed like a distant possibility. It felt imminent. Then came another catastrophe, one that no one expected. In May of 2015, researchers monitoring calving herds in Kazakhstan noticed something deeply troubling. Healthy animals were suddenly collapsing. Entire family groups began dying where they stood. At first, only a handful. Then, dozens. Then hundreds. Within days, the deaths became almost unimaginable. Scientists rushed to the field, but there was little they could do. Adult females died beside newborn calves. Calves died before they had taken more than a few steps. The silence spreading across the grasslands was unlike anything researchers had witnessed before. By the time the outbreak ended, more than 200,000 Saiga had perished. Entire regional populations had simply vanished. The culprit was a bacterium called Pasteurella multocida. Ordinarily, this bacterium lives harmlessly inside the noses and respiratory systems of many healthy animals, including Saiga. But under an unusual combination of warm temperatures and exceptionally high humidity during the calving season, it appears to have multiplied rapidly, invading the bloodstream and causing fatal septicemia. The speed of the event shocked the scientific community. A species already fighting for survival had lost over half of its global population in only a matter of weeks. For many conservationists, it felt like the final blow. But nature had quietly prepared the saiga for disaster long before the humans ever arrived. Everything about its biology reflects life in an unpredictable world. Harsh winters, drought, predators, disease. The steppe has always delivered sudden catastrophe. The saiga's answer has never been to avoid disaster. Its answer has been recovery. Females often begin reproducing at just over a year old. Twins are remarkably common. Entire generations are born within days of one another. If conditions improve, populations can grow with astonishing speed. And improve they did. Governments strengthened anti-poaching laws. Protected areas expanded. International conservation organizations worked alongside local communities, researchers, and wildlife officers to monitor herds and reduce illegal hunting. Satellite tracking revealed migration routes that crossed national borders, allowing neighboring countries to coordinate conservation efforts for the first time. Communities that once depended on hunting increasingly became partners in protecting the species. Slowly, the herds returned. A few thousand became tens of thousands. Tens of thousands became hundreds of thousands. Then, something extraordinary happened. The recovery accelerated. By the early 2020s, surveys revealed numbers few scientists had dared to hope for. Today, the global saiga population has rebounded to well over 1.5 million animals, with some estimates approaching 2 million across their range. It stands as one of the most remarkable recoveries ever documented for a large migratory mammal. That success has allowed the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN, to improve the species' conservation status from critically endangered to near threatened. The saiga is not completely safe, far from it. Disease outbreaks remain a serious concern. Illegal hunting still occurs. Expanding roads, railways, fences, and other infrastructure can interrupt ancient migration routes that have existed for thousands of years. Climate change is adding new uncertainty to an already unpredictable landscape. Conservation is not a finish line. It is a promise renewed every generation. Imagine standing alone on the Kazakh steppe at sunrise. The air is perfectly still. A pale orange glow spreads across the horizon. For several moments, there is only silence. Then you hear it. Not a roar, not a birdsong, a distant rumble. At first, it sounds almost like approaching thunder, but the sky is clear. The sound grows louder. The ground begins to tremble beneath your feet. Out of the morning haze emerges a living river. Thousands, then tens of thousands of saiga flowing across the plains. Calves keeping pace beside their mothers, young males weaving through the herd, older females leading the migration as they have done countless times before. Dust rises behind them like a mist. Their oversized noses bob rhythmically with every stride. For a few breathtaking moments, you are no longer standing in the 21st century. You are witnessing a scene that could have unfolded 20,000 years ago. Long before cities, long before agriculture, long before history itself. Few animals offer such a direct connection to Earth's distant past. The saiga is more than an antelope. It is a messenger from another age, a reminder that evolution does not always favor the biggest, the strongest, or the fiercest. Sometimes survival belongs to those that adapt, to those that keep moving, to those that find a way forward even when the landscape changes around them. There is another reason the saiga matters. The steppe is often described as empty, but emptiness is an illusion. The migrations of these antelope shape the grasslands themselves. As they graze, they prevent certain plants from dominating the landscape, encouraging a greater diversity of grasses and wildflowers. Their hooves disturb the soil just enough to help scatter seeds and recycle nutrients back into the earth. They also provide food for wolves and scavengers, linking predators, insects, birds, and countless microorganisms into a web of life that has evolved together over millennia. Remove the saiga, and the steppe changes. Protect the saiga, and an entire ecosystem continues to breathe. This is one of conservation's greatest lessons. Saving a species is rarely only about that species. It is about protecting every thread connected to it. There is something deeply inspiring about an animal that has survived so much. It has endured ice ages, predators, diseases, and humanity's mistakes. It has stood at the edge of extinction and found its way back. Not because it is invincible, but because it is resilient. Perhaps that is why the saiga feels so timeless. It reminds us that survival is rarely about resisting change. It is about adapting to it, about continuing forward, one step, one season, one generation at a time. We share this planet with millions of stories, most of them unfolding in the silence of the deep or the shadows of the canopy. The saiga teaches us that resilience is not measured by never falling, but by finding the strength to keep moving forward. Thank you for journeying with me into the world of the Saiga Antelope. I'm Patrick Fiersba. There are many secrets of Earth, if you only know where to listen. I'll see you on the next horizon. Until then, follow our coordinates by subscribing to or following the show. It ensures you never miss a step into the unknown.